And today I want to talk to you about the topic that's come up in the last, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months. So fighting back against cryptojacking. And in this webinar, I of course want to give you some information generally about cryptojacking, but also the basics that you need to understand this topic. And this is basically cryptocurrencies and crypto mining. So we will tell you how crypto mining will work. We will do a separation between crypto mining and cryptojacking, so where are the differences. And there are also many phases when it comes to cryptojacking. So we will show you some examples how this could run in a browser, or how this can also be run with a native code on your machine. And last but not least, of course, the best practices how to fight back against cryptojacking, of course. So I guess you've seen it in the news, so there were a lot of reports when it comes to cryptocurrencies in the last years, but also when it comes to well, some more criminal activities having something to do with cryptocurrencies. So popular topic was like stealing wallets of some persons with bitcoins in it, for example, hacking cryptocurrency exchanges, or now the newest trend, cryptojacking, so basically coming to your machine and consuming your resources to generate cryptocurrency. And there were quite a few events that we have seen. We have seen it on some websites that were basically infected by malicious JavaScript crypto miners. We have also seen attacks on some, well, government institution websites, or better to say, not really directly run by the government, but services that are often used by people that cannot properly read because, well, they are blind or they are illiterate. So there's a service that translates websites to speech, and this service provider was infected. So everyone who was, well, requiring this service to translate some government websites was basically affected by cryptojacking, what's very, very big thing, especially because these people are typically not IT professionals. So the bad guys consumed their resources and their machines and made it harder for them to, well, live their everyday life, of course. And one fun fact that you can see in the lower left side is that currently researchers estimate that crypto mining companies will consume more energy than households in 2018 in Iceland. So why is Iceland so popular? Well, the climate is a little bit colder than in Europe, than in the Middle East, and therefore they do not need to spend so much resources into cooling their data centers. That's where Iceland is very popular. So there are a lot of crypto mining currencies there running this as a service also. And these guys are consuming more power than all the households in Iceland. So fun fact, but it also shows you how interesting this topic of cryptocurrencies got in the last couple of years, of course. So let's set the stage for today's webinar. So what will we be talking about? Well, basically we will be talking about crypto mining. So what is crypto mining? Crypto mining is the act of performing complex calculations required to generate cryptocurrency. So in most cryptocurrencies like Bitcoins or Monero, you will have to perform very complex mathematical functions to generate new cryptocurrency. And it depends from cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency how much time it takes. So typically generating a new cryptocurrency, when talking about Bitcoins, I think a few months ago it took around about 10 to 50 minutes to generate a new block, and therefore the guy who found or generated the new block received 1 Bitcoin as a reward. In Monero it's quite faster, it's somewhere below 1 minute, but still you basically have to invest your resources to generate cryptocurrency. And of course here we are also talking of legitimate and malicious usage. So if you consent with this, if you're running the crypto miner by yourself, then everything is fine. If someone runs the crypto miner on your machine and you don't know anything about it and you don't get a cut for your investment, well then this is malicious usage, of course. So You may or may not keep the cryptocurrency proceeds, so depending on the situation, of course, but typically crypto mining is just a general background technology that is used to generate cryptocurrency and to validate the transaction done in this cryptocurrency. Well, and there's cryptojacking. So cryptojacking is a combination of crypto mining and hijacking. This means it's stealing resources to mine cryptocurrency without obtaining permission. So someone is getting onto your machine, different ways to do this, of course, and then he's basically running a crypto miner. He's performing this highly complex mathematical operations on your machine. So he's using your GPU, he's using your CPU, he's basically increasing your electricity bill, of course, because this is a high complex operation, takes a lot of resources, and the bad guys keeps all the cryptocurrency proceeds. So this is the bad thing about cryptojacking. It's basically using your resources, your IT resources, to generate cryptocurrency, to generate cash without your consent, of course. So when it comes to well, differentiate if something is good or bad, for crypto mining we can say, okay, this could be good, but this could also be bad. Depends if you allow crypto mining in your company. So if you allow it, then it's okay, it's good, it's wanted. But if someone runs crypto mining software on his personal desk, on his workstation, well, this might be bad because he's not allowed to do so. While cryptojacking, when talking about cryptojacking, this is always a bad thing. So we don't want this to happen in our network, of course. So let's talk about miners. So miners are people, or better say computers, that are paid a certain number of units of the cryptocurrency for their work. And they have two primary jobs. So the first job, of course, that makes it interesting for miners is generating cryptocurrency. So while they are performing the mathematical operations, they have the chance to generate cryptocurrency. And when you think about Bitcoin, if you happen to be the first one to solve this mathematical problem, you will get 1 Bitcoin. And 1 Bitcoin is, well, pretty much expensive nowadays, so it's multiple thousand US dollars, so it's interesting for everyone. And while the second job, that's not interesting for the miners itself really, it's interesting for the cryptocurrency infrastructure in the background. So the second jobs the miners are doing is they are validating transactions on a blockchain. So the blockchain is basically something like a journal where I keep my records that I, for example, Peter, am giving cryptocurrency to my colleague Tanya, of course, and this same cryptocurrency I cannot give to my colleague Michael, for example, because I already spent the money. So therefore we need miners. So one thing is to generate cryptocurrency, and the second thing is to validate the transactions on a blockchain, of course. The blockchain itself, it's a shared ledger, duplicated several times across the network. It's, when talking about Bitcoins, it's really a big file, so we are talking of multiple gigabytes here. So I think a few months ago it was like 148 gigabytes, this file. So really all the transactions that have taken place since the beginning in Bitcoins are in this shared ledger, so we can prove all the transactions that have taken place. And this is run by miners to tally the transactions to ensure the authenticity, etc. So very important. So this is a blockchain, a shared ledger, which keeps all the records about the transactions appearing in this cryptocurrency. So what are the table stakes when talking about crypto mining? One thing, of course, is the hardware. So you need hardware to be able to run a crypto miner. It can be a casual hardware, so it can be your workstation or your notebook at home. It can be a business machine, so a server or workstations. But anyways, you will have to invest in hardware. You can use your hardware that you have at hand, that's not a problem, but you can also invest in something new. And it's always the same. So to earn money, you need to invest money. And if you run it casually on your workstations at home, chances are very low that you will ever get or mine some cryptocurrency. Why? Because always the first guy who finds or who solves the mathematical problem gets all the cash. So when you get a new block and you run it on your workstation with a good graphic processor, you might be okay doing performing these operations, but there are a lot of specialized companies out there, especially in Iceland, which are running a dedicated mining hardware and which compute like several thousands of hashes more than you in a second. And therefore, chances are very, very low that you will get or mine cryptocurrency if you work on your own. And it's always keeping up with the competition. So hardware is changing always. So that's the reason also why graphic cards, so GPUs, are very expensive nowadays, because all these crypto miners, they are buying the high-end graphic cards and put them in their mining PCs to calculate more and more hashes to be capable of solving the mathematical problem they are currently at hand. And this makes it interesting. So first thing is, of course, you need hardware. You need to keep up to date. So you have to keep up with the competition, like always. You have to invest to get a cut, of course. And the problem is it's the power of one. When talking about cryptocurrencies, there is no power of one. As a single miner, you're very unlikely to mine successfully. And the bad guys also understand this. So they want to, of course, build a pool, or you, as a normal miner, you want to join a pool. A pool is basically a group or well, a group of several miners working together to solve this problem. So the bigger the group, the higher the chances to mine cryptocurrency, but the more guys in the group you have, the lower the cut will be. So when joining a big group, you will get a higher chance probably to get some cryptocurrency, but the cut will be lower if you then joining a smaller group, and that's very important. So if you want to mine, make sure that you join a pool and make sure that you join a really legitimate pool, so not a bad guy's pool who will keep all the bitcoins for himself and not giving you away anything. But this is something you have to keep in mind. So make sure that you do not mine for yourself. That's just basically wasting resources, because you won't never get any cryptocurrency out of it if you're working alone. So you have to join forces with other miners out there. So how to be a miner in 4 easy steps. It's similar to real life. So if you want to run legitimate mining, of course, the first step is, like in real life, well, you have to find a job. So this is also known as joining a pool. So you're joining forces with other people out there, with other miners out there. And well, what do I need to do? And you will have to ask yourselves, and what do I get paid for my effort? So we have something here posted, some screenshots from a website where you can basically get information about some pools. And as you can see, for example, in the middle we have Monero. So if you want to mine Monero, you could join these guys, and you can see the hash rate of the pool is around 40K hashes a second. That's quite nice. And we have 6,600 miners in there, and a payout would be like 0.3 Monero up to 10 Monero, depending on your computing power, of course, that you invest in this mining operation. When you take a look in the left upper corner, we have mining Ether. So we're mining Ether here, and there's Ether Classic and Ether. So for example, the pool on the left-hand side is really giant. So you have 91K miners working in this pool, making around 36,000 gigahashes per second, which is really a big number. And the payout is only 0.05 to 20 Ether if they are successful, of course. While when you look on the right-hand side, the Ether Classic mining group here has only 2.5 gigahashes, only 7,500 miners in there, but you will get a bigger cut. So the payout is 0.1 to 100 Ether. So this is basically like gambling. So the more people are in the pool, the higher the chances are to get cryptocurrency, but the lower the cut. If you have a small amount of people in the pool, the chances are lower to get cryptocurrency, but the cut will be higher. So you're the one to decide, okay, I want to go with team 1 or with team 2. And this is basically a listing for all the cryptocurrency out there. We only have a few popular over here. Of course, there's still Bitcoin, while Bitcoin is very, very, well, difficult to earn nowadays because a lot of commercial companies are concentrating on Bitcoin. It's a little bit more complex than Ether, for example. Like I told you before, or Monero. Monero takes around, I think, a few seconds only to generate cryptocurrency, while in Bitcoin it will take up to 10 to 15 minutes to generate one block. So there are more payouts in these newer cryptocurrencies than in Bitcoin, for example. So once you have found a job, of course you need something where you could put your salary in. So what do you need? You need a wallet for cryptocurrencies. And there are three options that you can choose. There's hardware, there's software, or an exchange. When it comes to software, this is the most easy approach. So you're just installing software, you have a software wallet, and there you go. But the problem is that we have seen a lot of malware, especially going after software wallets, and they are basically stealing your Bitcoins or stealing your Moneros, and you can't get them back. So that's the big problem here with cryptocurrencies. Once you lose it, it's lost, and you're left with nothing. Therefore, you have also other options to go with. You can put your cryptocurrencies in an exchange, but this is also typically not a good idea. We have seen a lot of attacks on cryptocurrency exchanges where they also lost millions of dollars, and therefore you should also only keep money in an exchange if you want to sell a cryptocurrency or if you have just bought the cryptocurrency. Otherwise, you should always stick to hardware. So buy a hardware wallet and so transfer your cryptocurrency to this hardware, and then you are safe. So what's the third step? Well, the third step is that you start working now. So what do we want to do? We are downloading a mining program of your choice or the one that's recommended by the pool you have joined. Typically it will use GPU in preference to CPU because the GPU can perform this mathematical operations much faster than a CPU, and you will get a configuration file from the pool, so you are joining the forces with all the other people out there. You are transmitting your hashes, you're also transmitting the information how much you are investing in this mining operation. So later on the pool decides, okay, like this guy contributed around I don't know, a few kilo hashes, while the other had like 100 times the size, so he will get more money than the guy that committed less. So that's the idea. So joining a pool, running it in the background, you do not have to do anything at all with this mining software. You will just launch it and it will run in the background. It will receive new working packages from the pool, so pretty easy. You can take a look, but it's nothing very interesting, as you can see in the screenshot. So it's basically like before, we have the search for extraterrestrial intelligence back then, so you won't see anything interesting. It's just running in the background with mathematical operations, and that's it. And the final step will be, if you are the lucky pool that basically finds the solution to the mathematical problem, you will get the cryptocurrency, and this cryptocurrency is split for all the pool members, and then you are getting the cash into your wallet, and that's it. So basically, it's for you as a person, it's really easy because you're just starting something, and that's it. For the computer itself, you can basically watch the electricity bill grow because this operation takes a lot of resources, a lot of computing power until you find something. And the bad thing is that basically if you are joining a bad pool or if you're running alone, chances are there that you won't get anything, but you're just wasting your electricity, for example. So a little bit more technical, if you are interested. I won't give a deep dive into blockchains now, but just to give you an idea of the concept, what's behind this story. It's basically the blockchain or cryptocurrencies based on a blockchain are built from three components. So one component is the private key cryptography, of course. So this is the technology that gives us the possibility to provide authenticity and authorization, of course. And then we have a distributed network with a shared ledger. So we have these copies of the database distributed in a network, so we are keeping track of all the transactions out there. And of course, very interesting, we need an incentive to service this network's transactions. So if you would build a network for a cryptocurrency and there's no reward, why should I invest my computing power into your cryptocurrency? I don't receive anything from it, so probably I'll just join another cryptocurrency that's giving me something in return. And this is why you basically, as you join the network, you're mining cryptocurrency. So you're joining the forces in this distributed network because you can make cash with it. So that's the idea, and that's very important to have this incentive, of course. So how does it typically work? So when I create transaction when it comes to cryptocurrency, so typically it looks like this. So for example, user A wants to transfer some money to user B. In this case, this user will basically make use of his private key and will create a block and tell me basically, okay, I as user A want to transfer one cryptocurrency to user B, and I address the user B via his public key. So we are making sure that it really reaches user B, so user B is the intended target. Then I add some more information inside this block, so I have a hashed history, I have a description on this transaction, and I have the time when this transaction takes place. And all these transfers of money are basically kept in a shared ledger in this blockchain, and I have several blocks putting on top of each other with a history, and this is basically the chain that comes out. So I have complete track record what happened with this cryptocurrency since the beginning, so I can basically go back and see how the money was generated and how the money was transferred over the time. So very important. So this is how it works more technically. So a combination of distributed networks of private key cryptography combined in blockchains. So let's talk about a little bit about mining Ethereum. So Ether, you have basically 3 bullet points when it comes to mine this cryptocurrency. We are choosing this cryptocurrency here because it's a little bit easier than Bitcoins. Bitcoin's a little bit more complex, takes a little bit more time, while Ether is mined a little bit faster. So we have basically 3 bullet points. So first, miners will run the block's unique header metadata through a hash function. So this is the highly complex mathematical function that I will have to do to earn cryptocurrency. And if the miner finds a hash that matches the current target, the miner will be awarded an Ether. And only this miner, or better to say the miner within this pool, will get the Ether. Everyone else basically spent or wasted their resources. They won't get anything at all. He will broadcast the block across the network, and this will be validated by the other parties and added to every copy on the blockchain, and then it starts again. So then the miners will again start to run the block's unique header metadata through a hash function. Someone will find it, then we will add this block to the blockchain, and then we'll repeat everything. And this work is called proof of work. So I'm proving it that I spent my resources into finding the solution for this mathematical problem. Therefore, I earned my cryptocurrency. And this is what basically is called mining nowadays. Sometimes there are considerations to moving of a proof of stake, so that basically the persons or the key nodes that are controlling the cryptocurrency guarantee me the possibility that everything is secure and safe. But typically most of the currencies are still running the proof of work concept, so I really have to invest a lot of resources to be able to earn some cryptocurrencies. And it's also difficult to manipulate the blockchain, of course. So since the work is completely spread out with thousands and thousands of miners, I would only be capable of controlling or manipulating the blockchain if I would control most of the miners. So if I have the majority of miners in my control, I would potentially be able to manipulate the blockchain. But since this comes with a large investment of resources like CPU and power and everything else, it's highly unlikely that such a tech can take take place. So this is the beauty of the distributed computing network over here with the shared ledger. So it's hard to manipulate because we have so many parties basically looking if something is happening here. So now let's talk about cryptojacking and the many phases of cryptojacking. So the first topic I want to talk about is the topic of malicious JavaScript miners. So this is something that is pretty popular in the last months. We've seen it on a lot of websites. And what is the history of this JavaScript miner? So that we have seen a dramatic rise. And well, it started when the cryptocurrencies surged in value during 2017. So we have seen really dramatic rise of Bitcoin value, of Monero value, of Ether value. So its value really exploded, and there came the rise of JavaScript miners also. So what's it all about is that the bad guys are using malicious JavaScript to mine and to generate cryptocurrencies. So they are building or they're using some public libraries for JavaScript that they use to mine cryptocurrencies, and which is nothing bad, but then it becomes bad when they basically hack a website or insert this malicious JavaScript miner in legitimate websites, and then the user just surfs on a website and he's doing nothing bad. So as I told you before, there were some websites infected that they're doing a website to speech conversion, which is a pretty valid usage scenario of the web, and there they inject the malicious JavaScript code, and then your machine is basically doing all the work for free. So CPU increases, the device slows down, it consumes more electricity, and especially it gets interesting when we are talking about mobile devices, because these JavaScript miners run all the time while you're on this website. And how often do you close your tabs inside your mobile browser? I don't know, probably I close it once a week or twice a week at a maximum. So in the meantime, the JavaScript miner would be running all the time in the background and can basically consume my resources, and I wouldn't notice it. The only thing that I would notice is that my battery level is really decreasing very, very fast. So this is something that's very mean, because the user doesn't do anything bad. The user doesn't click somewhere or surf some legitimate websites. He's just going on his news websites, he's doing on a weather forecast website, and there the JavaScript miner is starting. We will have one example now that's called CoinHive. So this is one JavaScript library that is pretty popular and is used on a lot of websites, sometimes legitimate, but sometimes not. And on the left-hand side, you can see a very interesting chart. You can see on the top chart, you can see the Bitcoin price compared to the CoinHive web infections. So how many websites did we see running this crypto miner JavaScript library? Well, you can see when the Bitcoin was around about like 7K US dollars, it was pretty low, but then we can have seen a rise going up to 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, and then we have seen a dramatic increase of these crypto miners. Same goes for Monero, so XMR's Monero, so we have seen the price also exploded of this cryptocurrency, and therefore we have also seen a lot of CoinHive web infections that we have discovered, and this is how it always works. So basically, if it's, well, if it guarantees me some income, the bad guys will also join in and do some crypto mining, but not with their machines, but with your machines. So that's a big difference. A colleague of mine has prepared a small video over here. He was browsing the web and he was looking for some SQL Server performance tuning. So he wanted something for stringed binary truncation, and we are here in the first page of the Google results, and there's a website pretty popular. I won't name it here, but it's a very popular website when you're working with SQL Server. So you can see a rise in the CPU. It basically, before the website was browsed to, there was no traffic at all on the CPU, but now you can see, okay, it's completely spiked we have 100% over here, and this is how this JavaScript miners are working. So basically you're just visiting a website, you're doing nothing bad, and then the JavaScript miner is starting, and your machine well, is committing to the pool of the criminals and wasting your resources, of course. I will show you this live on a system, how it works like. So one system will be unprotected, and one system will be protected by Sophos. So this is my victim Windows 10 machine, so it's patched. We have the Windows Defender running on here. As you can see, the CPU is around about 5 to 10%, so it's idling around, so nothing bad happening. Now I'm on the CoinHive.com website. So this is the site where I can basically download this JavaScript. I can integrate CoinHive on my website and give these guys who came up with the idea with the library, I will give them a cut when mining. And when I hit start mining over here, you will see that the CPU will change. So I'm just clicking on it, starting mining. I'm running 4 threads. And then in the background, Internet Explorer will start to mine, and we can see, okay, it starts pretty slow, but then it takes up some pace, and we can see, okay, CPU is spiking to 100%. I'm doing like 17 hashes a second. I committed 155 hashes already, and also in this script it's possible to throttle it a little bit. I'm now running 100% speed, meaning that it will consume all the resources on my box. That's okay in my test scenario, but this guy is also built in a throttle, so I can say, okay, please slow it a little bit down so it will take up 100%, so the user can still work and I'm still generating some Monero here in this case. So this is how it works, and I can basically misuse this website to generate cryptocurrency. So pretty straightforward. If I close this browser, you can see that the load on a CPU is dropping back to 3%, and I'm not infected anymore. So it's not really an infection, it's basically just visiting a website, and if it has a JavaScript miner installed, it will take away all your resources that you have. Now let's take a look at, in comparison, on a machine that's protected by Sophos endpoint and our XG firewall, of course, also. So on this machine I have running our endpoint. So this is the endpoint protection advances installed on this box, as you can see, and Intercept X is also running on the box. Everything is fine at the moment, and we are protected. And now when I want to access CoinHive.com, in this case we can see that the website is not accessible. The access to the location CoinHive.com was blocked for this user. Why? Because we treat it as a malicious website, because, as I already said, cryptojacking, basically stealing resources from your PC, is always treated as bad by us. But in case that you wouldn't have this protection on the endpoint, so we'll just turn it out, you will still, with Sophos products, you will still have protection for web-based components. So when going to CoinHive.com, you can see, okay, here's our XG firewall, which is also capable of stopping these attacks. Why? Because in the XG firewall, we have our firewall rules in place. And in this firewall rule, I can specify basically that I want to have a web policy applied. In this case, it's just the default policy. In a default policy, we are blocking the hacking category, and therefore we are not capable of accessing CoinHive.com, or we are not also able to access websites that are compromised with this CoinHive script or similar cryptojacking tools. Very important. So you have 2 layers of protection with Sophos. One is on an endpoint by blocking the access to the website itself, and the second layer is on a network level at perimeter. Our XG firewall is also capable of blocking it. So when I would turn off the web policy here to none, so we are not controlling web traffic anymore, of course, going back to the machine, now I can access CoinHive.com and I can start this as legitimate mining. And therefore we also have 2 great knowledge base articles I can show you here. So one knowledge base article is the 127988. You will have a reference to all the links and also the recording of this webinar later on in a follow-up email. So in this KBA, we have the description how to block JavaScript crypto miners for all our products, so endpoint and server protection, but also for network protection. And we can just take a look at Sophos Central, how this will work. So it's really step by step, really, really easy. So in this case, you should just log into Sophos Central. You will navigate to endpoint protection or server protection. So please keep in mind that servers are also interesting, especially when you're running them in a terminal server operation. So then you have to go to policies, web control. You can enable web control, and then under acceptable web usage we have the category adult and potentially inappropriate categories, and below it when you click on view more you can see that hacking is blocked. So when blocking hacking websites you're also blocking crypto miners running via JavaScript. Same goes for Sophos Home. So if you want to run Sophos in your home environment, you can download Sophos Home. You can also apply a web policy over here. XG firewall, same thing like we have seen before. So just go to your protection, go to web, edit your policy, if it's the default policy, your workplace policy or any special policy, block the hacking category, and that's it. You're protected against JavaScript miners. In UTM, if you're running UTM, you can block the criminal activities category, so the name is different but the effect is the same, so then we will also block the crypto miners over here. If you want to authorize JavaScript crypto miners on specific websites, we also have KBA on that, so that's 128000, and here we will also give you an overview for all the products how to allow this mining on specific websites. Why should that be interesting? I would show you later on why this could be interesting. So you can basically just add website customization to Sophos Central, like CoinHive.com. You can do category overrides, say, okay, it's not hacking anymore, there's a business category or business site. You can add a tag crypto miner, and that's it. You are allowing this crypto mining on this specific website. So also this information can be found here. So 127.998 and 128.000. This is the place to go to get information about JavaScript crypto miners. So let's jump back to the presentation. So we have seen this demo with CoinHive. So one example of JavaScript crypto miner. And why is this interesting, or why could this be legitimate, or at least a gray zone? Well, we have seen this JavaScript-based crypto miners also on legitimate websites. There's one very infamous website out there, so it's the Pirate Bay. So there's a search engine for torrents, and they also experimented with JavaScript crypto miners in exchange for ads. So they basically told us, okay, listen, I know that ads are annoying. We are trying to get rid of ads, and therefore we are basically just using a little bit of your computing power to generate cryptocurrency for us. So we are getting some cash in return that we offer you the service. And this idea was also picked up by other websites. So that's an example of a US website. It's salon.com. I think, and they also run it as a beta. So they tell you, okay, listen, we noticed that you are running an ad blocker, so we are making money out of ads, so that's how we pay for providing you this service. So please disable the ad blocker so we can make some cash, or we can also suppress the ads, but you will basically give us some access to your unused computing power. So what they are doing here, yes, they are mining cryptocurrencies. So legitimate websites, they want to make money. In Germany, we have a lot of court action currently going on between founders of an ad blocker and some printing media over here. So a big discussion. So they websites are making cash with ads, and basically if you block the ads, they cannot make cash. They have to discontinue their service, so they have to find a new way to make cash. And probably crypto mining would be one potential answer, but well, what's the lesser of the two evils? So would you allow it? So would it treat it as legitimate or as malicious? That's a big question that we have over here. So the idea is interesting, yes, but still as a user I'm not sure if I want that any website can basically run some JavaScripts and consume my resources. So far for the miners based on JavaScript. So now we will take a look at native code attacks. So JavaScript running into a browser, when you hit a website and you see that your CPU spikes, just close the websites and you have no problems anymore. When it comes to native code attacks, it gets a little bit more complicated, of course. So there was one attack that was called WannaMine. As you may see, it sounds similar to WannaCry, so it uses the same, let's say, backend, so it makes use of the same exploits for spreading on machines, but it installs a miner instead of ransomware. And that's the interesting thing. So now the guys have seen, okay, oh, when we are encrypting everything, like we have some great endpoint solutions stopping encryption like Sophos Intercept X. We have gateway technologies like Sandstorm, like sandboxing and stuff like this. So probably like encryption is not good anymore. It doesn't return me a lot of cash. Let's try now with cryptocurrency mining. So now they are hiding. They are not jumping into your face and telling you, give me money or you won't get your files back. Now they are just like sneaking in. They're stealing a little bit of your resources, mining some cryptocurrencies, and join everything in a big pool, and they're generating cash, and you don't get anything in return except of a large electricity bill, of course. So this is how it works nowadays. So we have seen a lot of crypto mining attacks, and especially on mobile devices, we also have seen, like, if you're downloading stuff from some not legitimate stores, you will get mobile apps that look okay when taking a look at it, like, but when doing a deep dive in the code, you will see that they are also having crypto mining components in there. So you're downloading some game for free, but in the background it consumes a battery and does some mining. So this is also that we have seen a lot, and so we also need a solution to stop these native code attacks. And later on I will also show you a short demo how we can do this. So what does cryptojacking mean for your organization? Well, we have 5 downsides here basically. So one thing is, of course, the unbudgeted operation expenses from powering the computers to work for someone else. So when you take a look at the workstations, your CPU load, I don't think that it will be like all the time over 50%. So typically, like the demo machine we have seen, it probably idles around like 15 to 25% probably, and that's it. But when running crypto mining, it will consume a lot more energy, a lot more electricity, and then you will find an electricity bill that dramatically has increased, and you simply do not have it on budget. So you have to cut a budget somewhere else to pay your electricity bill. So that's a bad situation. And of course the opportunity cost, because legitimate works get slowed down. So if you have it running, for example, someone infects their servers and runs crypto mining on a server, because servers are nice, they have a lot of computing power, your normal server-based application will run much, much slower. So you will have an impact on day-to-day business also. And then, of course, the security risk. So at the moment, crypto mining is very interesting for the bad guys, but this will change. Like ransomware was very interesting. Now they shifted towards crypto mining. Probably they will shift in another direction or back to ransomware again. So that's the problem. They infected your machine. They came to your machine when it comes to native code attacks, and then they basically can do everything. They can spread within your network. Probably with the GDPR coming up in the European Union after May the 28th, they can just say, okay, let's switch to stealing files and ransom them, because you will get fined if you are losing some records about persons, and therefore they can just adapt, because they own your machine and they can do anything they like. So if it's not any more lucrative for them to mine cryptocurrency, they will just adapt and do something else, bet to a company to get some money out of you. And there's, of course, this reputational and regulatory loss of reporting, investigating, and explaining crypto mining activity. So these guys, the auditors, they know that you've been basically hacked, and something bad happened, and that the bad guys also probably did not only do crypto mining, but it also steal some records, some blueprints, whatever. So that's very problematic. And there's also some ethical concerns of allowing employees to legitimately mine, for example, supporting some websites. So are these the employees now the bad guys? Yes, no. So this is very difficult to answer, of course. So how do we see it, and so what's the Sophos position? So it's really hard to distinguish what's good mining and what's bad mining. So in some situation you might say, okay, this is okay, but this is not okay, or we have some gray zone. And our CTO, Joe Levy, told us, okay, in the absence of a reliable way to differentiate between consensual and non-consensual mining, the bad apples ruin the good ones, meaning that we will block all of this because we want to make sure that you are protected. Even if you would stop a legitimate mining, you still have the possibility after we stopped it that you can say, okay, I want to allow it for this website, for example, or I want to allow this crypto miner because I'm a mining company, let's say. So until then, we are blocking everything. We are protecting our customers. We are blocking cryptojacking, of course, because that's 100% malicious, but we are also capable of blocking crypto mining because this is typically malicious when it comes to an organization. So how to stop crypto miners? So we had two scenarios. So one scenario was how to stop JavaScript crypto miners, and we have seen it already in my live demonstration. So there are basically two options. The first line of defense, so on a perimeter between you and the internet, there's always a firewall. In our case, is the Sophos XG firewall. It can block this JavaScript miners and don't let it get onto your network so that the employees access websites that's, well, runs some malicious crypto mining. So we are blocking it, and it's the first line of defense. But also, if you wouldn't block it on the XG firewall, we still have our endpoint or server products that are capable of protecting you. So Sophos Central Endpoint is the last line of defense, so it doesn't let the JavaScript execute on this box. Central Server Protection, the same, doesn't let it execute on your server. And of course, please keep in mind the mobile devices, they are more and more interesting also for the criminals. There we have Sophos Mobile with security functionality where we can block known mining websites both on and off your network, of course. So this is how you protect yourself against JavaScript cryptojacking. As I told before, it's pretty easy to stop the infection. It's basically just closing the browser, just closing the browser tabs. Don't let it run in the background on your mobile so you won't waste any resources. When it comes to native code cryptojacking, it's a little bit more complicated, of course, but we still have our XG firewall as a first line of defense. So we are here capable of stopping malware from getting onto your network. So here we can inspect like attacks taking place, files being sent to you via email or via web. And on the endpoint side, we have our Intercept X solution in combination with Central Endpoint. So Intercept X, that's our next generation endpoint solution where we have a combination of multiple of next generation technologies that are completely signatureless and also protect you against unknown threats. In combination with the Central Endpoint, so this is the traditional endpoint solution that we have, also combining signature-based and signature-less technologies, and together you will achieve a very, very high grade of protection, of course. So here we can block exploit techniques used to spread cryptojacking. For example, one of mine was stopped by Intercept X, so we are capable of stopping the exploit technologies that were used like Eternal Blue and Double Pulsar, and therefore we protected our customers against these attacks. For Sophos Mobile, again, we have the mobile security component that also checks if some malicious apps are on the same device. And the biggest advantage that we have is what we call a synchronized security. So the combination really of the endpoint and network solutions, they are talking with each other via our security heartbeat technology. So a big problem is, of course, to spot crypto mining traffic in your network. So there are a lot of crypto mining tools out there. How to identify them all? Well, basically in traditional systems you have to rely on signatures provided by the vendor. In our world with synchronized security, the firewall just can ask the endpoint if it spots some unknown traffic. Okay, listen endpoint, what is running on your port 12345? Give me some information about it, and then the firewall can make out, okay, this is a crypto mining tool, so therefore I will block it according to the policy, or I will present to the administrator what application is running there, and the administrator can decide what to do with this application. So you gain unparalleled visibility into all crypto mining apps and all the other apps running onto your network. And you can decide to deny or allow. So full control, even if you're running into problems. If you have some unknown applications with synchronized security, you will gain full visibility over all the traffic in your network. And last but not least, I will show you a short video giving you an overview how we are capable of protecting the endpoint. So now I'll just start a video with a short demonstration of different attack vectors on your company. So in this endpoint I have running the endpoint advanced. So that's the traditional component with InterceptX, our next gen tool. As you can see, a combination of next generation technologies like deep learning, like exploit mitigation, ransomware detection, combined with traditional technologies like reducing the attack surface with device control or file-based signature-based scanning. So we have multiple infection paths how someone could infect your network. One would be a USB stick, of course. So someone basically finds a USB stick in a parking lot, takes it into a company, plugs it into a PC with Sophos endpoint. You can block this, so he's not allowed to plug in all the USB sticks. Or other infection paths like file sharing applications. Or if he wants to run a mining application by himself, you have application control running, so you're capable of blocking specific applications or application categories that you don't want to use on your corporate machines, of course. When it comes to phishing, we also have protection over here. So basically, if someone wants to trick the user to download some executable or to download some HTML application, what can we do here? Well, we have multiple of technologies preventing the infection over here. One thing is, of course, like our web control or our web protection. We can block malicious websites like this Windows updates written with a 0 instead of an O. This site is blocked because we know this site is bad, like CoinHive.com was blocked by our solution. Now I will turn down a little bit of our functionality so that we can simulate more attack vectors on this machine. So we can now see what happens when I just reload it when this component is turned off. You can see we are downloading the software, but still we get an infection detection here. So our machine learning now picks up the infection and it recognizes that this is something malicious, therefore we are blocking this executable. So let's switch back and to the email, and now we won't go after the executable. Now we want to go after the HTA application. So I'm downloading this checker tool, for example. And now, while I'm downloading it, download reputation kicks in and tells me, okay, listen, this stuff that you are downloading is suspicious because we don't know this file. It's completely new. We have never seen it before. So really, do we want to keep it? Yes or no? Basically, we are blocking it in this case because it's malicious. Then we are toggling out the traditional technologies and machine learning now. And let's see what happens now. So going for the same page, so downloading the checker HTA, we can see the script analysis kicks in. So we have a behavior-based detection combined with a script analysis. So when we see there's a malicious script, we're capable of stopping it. So no chance for the attacker to get onto your machine to infect it with a crypto miner or with a ransomware. So this is how we work. We have multiple layers of security in here to give you a really great protection. So downloading the file again, and this time I'm able to download it. When I want to run it, we will see that application lockdown kicks in. We've seen some malicious behavior prevented or coming up with Google Chrome. Therefore, we prevented the malicious behavior, stop Google Chrome. So another option to block attacks. And now if we do not use the browser but go directly via the Windows Explorer and launch this application, we will run it, and then again application control kicks in because this variant of this malware tries to run Microsoft PowerShell on this PC. We are blocking it via application control, therefore also no infection possible. So let's turn off additional controls now in our software so that we can see what the malware is doing. So there we go, turning off our application control now. As you can see, we only have a few technologies left in space, but still we offer you protection against these attacks. So now when running PowerShell, you will see it will pop up. Now it will download a component and it will start with encryption of your data. And here our anti-ransomware component kicks in, so the guys cannot ransom your files because we are just stopping the process. We are recovering the original files. And even if the guys really want to gather information more than to encrypt the information, we have technologies for this. So I'm launching here another instance. In the background, this connects to a command control service. In this scenario, we have simulation with Kali Linux. That's a vulnerability testing tool. And here we are basically establishing a session with my computer that I just have infected. And my goal as a criminal here is basically to steal the authentication information or credential or hashes from administrators or other users in your network so I can spread to other machines even if they are not vulnerable to some exploits. So I'm running HashDump here, a tool for collecting the hashes on the machine. As you can see, this is also blocked by our tool. We have a credential theft protection in place in InterceptX, and this is what really makes out our product. So a great combination of endpoint security mechanisms combined with great technology on the network, of course. So this is really the power and the beauty of InterceptX in combination with XG firewall. So this is synchronized security. And we are protecting you against crypto miners, so cryptojacking tools, but also against all the other threats out there. So let's talk a little bit about best practices. So best practice, of course, number one is always keep your devices patched. One of mine was going after the same vulnerabilities that were patched 1 year ago by Microsoft. So, well, probably we should have patched within 1 year. I know that there are some machines that cannot immediately be patched, but 1 year is still a lot of time. Use mobile management technologies, so stop cryptojacking applications. So this is something that we see a lot more in the last weeks. Educate your team. Crypto mining is not acceptable use for companies' resources typically. And it's important also to stop traditional malware vectors. For example, phishing, for example, device control, because this is also an entrance for cryptojacking tools. Maintain a strong password policy. That's a classic. So here, make sure that everything is fine and set up, and keep an eye for telltale signs that you're being cryptojacked. So slow network, spikes in CPU consumption, and a soaring electricity bill, of course. So what are the next steps? So if you are interested in this topic a little bit more in detail, then please read the cryptojacking white paper so you can access it via sophos.com/cryptojacking. And of course, please give our products a try. So get 30 days free Sophos protection. Go sophos.com/free trials. You can have a trial in Sophos Central. So that's the cloud-based single management platform for all the endpoint solutions that we have in place. Also for mobile devices, of course. So endpoint, InterceptX, server, and mobile protection. One console, very simple to administrate and gives you great protection. And of course, our XG firewall. It just had the NSS Labs recommend attack for our appliance, so really a great product. And it runs in line with your current firewall, so you do not have to tier your complete network. You can just place it in line to benefit from the security functionality. And last but not least, some further reading. So we have a great IT security blog, Naked Security. Give it a try. They have a lot of articles about crypto mining, cryptojacking, and of course our Sophos knowledge base. The 2 articles I stated before. Take a look at it, how to block JavaScript crypto miners or how to authorize JavaScript crypto miners on specific websites. And last but not least, reminder of our upcoming webinar. So in 3 weeks we will have a Sophos Fish Threat webinar, so that's a phishing email simulation and training tool. It will be at the same time, so in 3 weeks, so please join us. It's a great tool to raise the security awareness of your team, to tell them how they can spot a fishy email and similar things. So sorry that I'm running out of time, so I won't answer a lot of questions now. I will later on browse the questions. If I see a lot of them, we will make a FAQ or I will answer them directly. So thank you for joining us, and I'm handing back to Tanya. Thank you.
Thanks again, Peter, for the presentation and all the information you were giving us today. Again, the webinar has been recorded and we will send the recording and the slides to you afterwards. Thank you for joining today, and we hope to welcome you in one of our upcoming Sophos webinars. Have a nice day.